dismantle, inspect components, rectify or replace, and assembly engine and transmission.
Hello viewers, at the end of this exercise, you will know how to identify engine parts, dismantle various engine components, list out the precautions to be followed while overhauling an engine, check the engine parts using proper instruments or gauge, assemble the engine parts using proper tools, and clean the engine component.
Dismantling the engine. Park the vehicle on a flat surface rigidly by keeping the vehicle on the centered stand. Close the fuel tap. Remove the carburetor by loosening the air filter hose using suitable screwdriver and inlet manifold connection using suitable DE spanner. Dismantle the chain from the sprocket using suitable plier or snip tool. Also remove the clutch cable by loosening the lock nut. Drain the engine oil by loosening the drain nut or plug. Clean the cylinder block with a clean cloth. Remove the spark plug from the cylinder head using a plug spanner. Dismantle the cylinder head from the crankcase by loosening the bolts provided on the cylinder head. Remove the cylinder head gaskets and bushes and keep it in a safe, clean place. Take out the cotters, locks, collets using the special tool. Remove the intake and exhaust valve along with the valve seating and spring. Dismantle the camshaft by removing the timing gear from the crankshaft. Care should be taken not to change the timing or damage identification marks. Loosen the connecting rod bolts from the big end of the crankshaft using suitable DE spanner. Remove the brass bushes from the connecting rod by loosening the dowel pins. Using a wooden mallet, remove the piston pin by gently tapping on the pin and dismantle piston from the connecting rod. Remove the piston ring from the piston. Separate the crankshaft gear from the countershaft gear. Dismantle, clean and check the transmission separately. Remove the crankshaft using suitable DE spanner and also the bearings using suitable pullers. Remove the flywheel securing bolts from the crankshaft using suitable DE spanner and dismantle the flywheel. Cleaning. Clean the piston pins with kerosene. Clean the piston head thoroughly, removing the carbon and other deposits formed on it. Clean the inlet and exhaust valves. Also clean the valve springs and seating. Clean the big and small ends of the connecting rod with kerosene. Clean the crankshaft with recommended solvent, removing any carbon, oil deposits with wire brush. Clean the various bolts and nuts fitted on the cylinder head and crankcase thoroughly. Clean the cylinder walls thoroughly. Check engine components inspection. Inspect the parent bore of the cylinder for inline alignment using line boring bar and straight edge. Measure the main bearing parent bore using bore dial gauge for taper and ovality. Measure the cylinder bore diameter for wear, taper and ovality. Check the warpage of the flywheel friction surface by using a straight edge. If the warpage is more than recommended, then the flywheel should be reground. Check the face of the flywheel with the help of a dial indicator. Check the flywheel teeth for breakage or pitting. Check the valves, valve spring and valve seating for any pitting or crack. Check the piston, connecting rod and the piston pin. Inspect the flywheel crankshaft, camshaft and timing gears, sprocket and chain. Measure the clearance between the crankshaft main journal and bearing shell. Check out the run out of journals with a dial indicator. Measure the camshaft journal for ovality, taper and wear. Check for any bending of the crankshaft. Check the cylinder walls and liner for any crack or pitting. Assemble. Clean the bore of the cylinder and place the main bearing. Install the crankshaft rear bearing seal, oil seal. Install the thrust washers to the respective bearings. Place the crankshaft in its position in the cylinder. Place the shell bearing into the respective bearing caps. Check the bearing liners, shells for spread. The insert should snap into position in the housing cap. Tighten the bolts of the bearing cap to specified torque using torque wrench and check the crankshaft for free rotation. Fit the ring gear on the flywheel. Align the flywheel dowel pins with dowel pins on the flange. Assemble the valve, valve guidance, valve spring and the seating. Fix the spark plug and tighten using torque wrench to specified torque. Fit the camshaft by sliding it through the camshaft bearings. Align the timing gear of the camshaft with the crankshaft gear. Fit the compression and oil rings to the piston. Assemble the piston pin, piston and connecting rod. Fit the cylinder head using the bolts and tighten the bolts using torque wrench to specified torque. Fit the cylinder head using the bolts and tighten the bolts using torque wrench to specified torque. Fix the spark plug and tighten using torque wrench to specified torque. Fill the crankcase with recommended lube oil. Attach the carburetor, battery and various other cable linkages like choke, throttle, etc. Start the engine and check for any unwanted noise or sound. Take suitable corrective action if any. Overhauling of transmission. Dismantling. Dismantle the transmission from the engine using suitable tools, D-spanner, puller and plier, etc. Loosen the clutch cable. Remove the crankcase cover and dismantle the clutch housing. Mark the pressure plates and clutch covers position with respect to each other. Using a clutch puller, remove the pressure and clutch plates. Cleaning and checking. Wash the flywheel, ring gear and pressure plate using kerosene. Also inspect for any cracks and burnt spots. Clean the clutch linkages, eccentric pin and bush, withdrawal plate and clutch finger brackets. Visually inspect them for any damage or cracks. Also inspect the withdrawal bearing and thrust pad. Check the free length and tension of the pressure springs. Replace the springs which do not conform with manufacturer's specification. Check the clutch plate's torsion spring visually for any damage after cleaning it with kerosene. Replace the clutch plate if the torsion spring is damaged. Assembly. Place the clutch finger's bush in the clutch finger. Fit the clutch finger bracket on the clutch cover and fit the clutch finger with the bracket with the eccentric pin. Hand tighten the mounting set screws of the clutch bracket. Place the pressure plate on the clutch jig. Place the pressure springs on the spring recess of the pressure plate. Align marks of the clutch cover and pressure plate. And place the clutch cover on the pressure plate. Compress the springs with a clutch jig. Place the pressure pad on the pressure plate and tighten the pad's mounting set screws. Release the load from the springs and remove the clutch cover assembly from the clutch jig. Place the withdrawal plate on the clutch finger. Place the withdrawal plate's retaining plate on the clutch and tighten the mounting set screws of the withdrawal plate. Check the clutch engage and disengage.
Hello viewers, you have learned how to identify the parts of the engine, dismantle various components in an engine, list out the precautions to be followed while overhauling an engine, check engine parts using instruments or gauges, assemble the engine using proper tools, and clean the engine component.